Hi, continues to registration chapter. Display of registration certificate and GST number on the name boards. Once a person has obtained registration certificate, he has to display such certificate at a prominent location of the principal place of business and at every additional place of business. The GST number also has to be mentioned on the name board of the business. I can read that one. Every registered person shall display his registration certificate in a prominent location at his principal place of business and at every additional place of business. Further, GSTN number has to be displayed on the name board exhibited at entry of his principal place of business and at every additional place of business. That means the registration certificate has to be displayed in a prominent location, and the registration number, GSTN number also has to be displayed on the name board of the business. Okay. Next concept, effective date of registration. Effective date of registration we are going to discuss. Then any person who has applied for registration within 30 days from the date when he becomes liable for registration, the effective date of registration is the date on which he becomes liable for registration. If any person applied for registration beyond 30 days of becoming liable for registration, date of grant of registration. That means if any person applied for registration within 30 days of becoming liable for registration, the effective date of registration is date on which he becomes liable for registration. Beyond 30 days, the effective date of registration is date of grant of registration. We are going to discuss some examples for better understanding. Example 16. A person has a place of business in Chennai exceed his aggregate turnover on 1st January 2019. That means he is becoming liable for registration on 1st January. He has applied for registration on 15th January 2019. That is within 1 month. That is within 30 days. Registration certificate granted on 20th January. Okay. What is the effective date of registration? He is becoming liable for registration on 1st January and he has applied for registration 15th January. That is within 30 days. If any person who has applied for registration within 30 days, the date of effective registration will be date on which he becomes liable for registration. In such case, date of grant of registration is 1st January 2019. I can read the answer. Since he is liable for registration on 1st January and he has applied for registration on 15th January, that is within 30 days. Therefore, effective date will be date on which he becomes liable for registration, that is 1st January 2019. Okay. Next. A person has a place of business in Bangalore exceed his aggregate turnover on 1st January 2019. That is, date on which he became liable for registration is 1st January 2019. He has applied for registration on 15th February 2019. That is, beyond 30 days. He is liable for registration on 1st January, but he has applied for registration on 15th January. That is 45 days. That means he has applied for registration beyond 30 days. Registration certificate granted on 18th February. What is the effective date of registration? If any person applied for registration beyond 30 days of becoming liable for registration, then the date of effective registration is date of grant of registration. In such case, here the date of grant of registration is 18th February. Therefore, the date of effective registration is 18th February. I can read the answer. Since he is liable for registration on 1st February and he has applied for registration on 15th February, that is beyond 30 days. Therefore, effective date of registration is date of grant of registration, that is 18th February. Okay. Understand? Now we are going to discuss the next concept, unique identity number. Unique identity number means any persons, that means foreign embassies, United Nations organizations, or multilateral financial institutions, they are not eligible to obtain GSTN number. They are eligible to obtain only UIN number, unique identity number. That I can discuss right now. Any specialized agency of United Nations organization or multilateral financial institutions and organization is notified under the United Nations Act 1947. Consulate or embassy of foreign countries or any other person notified by the Commission is required to obtain a UN number. such UN number is, why that UN number is required for them? They are taking they are purchasing the goods or services. For purchasing goods or services, they are paying the GST. They are eligible to refund the taxes paid on such supply of goods or services. So for refund of taxes, they require unique identity number. Unique identity number is valid the unique identity number is valid throughout the India. Not single, it is not a state to state. Unique identity number is allotted for these embassies on a India wide, not in a state ways. The UN number is needed for claiming of refund of taxes on notified supply of goods or services received by them, and for such other purposes may be notified. UIN granted is a centralized, that is, it shall be applicable to the territory of India. A person having a UN number is not a registered person, thus he is not a taxable person. If any person is obtained a UN number, he is not a taxable person. Just for refund of taxes, they will obtain this UN number only. It is not a state to state basis, it is all over India basis only. Then, second one, special provisions for grant of registration in case of non-resident taxable person and casual taxable person. Regular procedures are not applicable for casual taxable person, non-resident taxable person. What is the procedure? Both CTP, casual taxable person means CTP, non-resident taxable person means NRTP. These both CTP and NRTP has to apply at least 5 days before the commencement of business. Before the commencement of business, at least 5 days period to such a business, they have to apply for registration. And they have to estimate their tax liability and pay the taxes at the time of making application for registration. On that basis only they are sent. Once you pay the taxes, then only the registration will be granted. Otherwise you will not grant the registration certificate. CTP and NRTP will have to pay the estimated tax liability at the time of making application only. Then maximum period for registration in case of CTP NRTP is only 90 days. If further extension is required, it will make a further extension of application for a maximum period of 90 days. That means 90 days plus 90 days. 180 maximum registration duration period granted is only 90 plus 90, 180 days. They will not grant more than 180 days. We are going to read now. Both CTP and NRTP will have to be compulsorily registered under GST irrespective of the threshold limits at least 5 days prior to the commencement of business. As per section 25(6), every person must have a PAN to be eligible for registration. For CTP, they have a PAN because casual taxable person is residing in India, so he has a PAN number. On the basis of PAN, registration number will be granted. In case of NRTP, because they are residing outside the India, they don't have the PAN. In such a case, how they are granted? Registration will be granted on the basis of passport. They have to submit a copy of their passport along with the application duly signed by authorized signatory who is an Indian resident having a valid PAN number. In case of any business entity outside India, he want to do some business in India, they have to obtain registration based on the tax identification number or PAN number, whatever applicable. I can read. As per section 26, every person must have a PAN to be eligible for registration. Since NRTP will generally not have a PAN of India, he may grant registration on the basis of other prescribed document. What other prescribed document? He has to submit a self-attested copy of valid passport along with the application signed by his authorized signatory who is an Indian resident having a valid PAN number. However, in case of business entity is incorporated outside the India or established outside India, the application for registration shall be submitted along with the tax identification number. In case of business entity, they has to submit a tax identification number or unique number on the basis of which the entity is identified by the government of that country, if available. Registration certificate granted to CTP NRTP will be valid for period specified in the registration. If registration, what is the registration certificate valid? The period mentioned in the application or a maximum period of 90 days. That is the registration Okay, registration certificate granted to be CTP NRTP valid for a period specified in the registration application or 90 days from the date of effective registration. Can be extended by further period not exceeding 90 days by making an application before the end of validity of registration granted, whichever is earlier. That is, before the end of the expiry of 90 days, he has to make an application for extension of such further period but not exceeding 90 days. Advance deposit of tax. At the time of submitting application, the NRTP or CTP has to estimate his tax liability and pay the deposit of such advance tax at the time of making application. Where a further extension is sought, for such further extension also, he has to estimate his extension of estimate his tax liability for such extension period and make the payment at the time of making further application. Okay, na? Okay. Next, amendment of registration. The registered person has obtained a registration certificate. After that, he want to amend his place of business. Any change in the directors, any change in partners, any change in managing trustee, or a change in email ID, or change in mobile number, or change in authorized signatory. All these amendment he can do by making an application to the proper office. There are two types of amendments. One is core field. Second one is non-core field. Non-core field means mobile number and email ID. Mobile number, email ID shall be changed by making an application online and automatically it will be changed. But in case of core fields, proper officer approval is required. That we are going to discuss now. For amendments in core fields, proper officer may approve or reject the amendments in the registration particulars. Such amendments shall take effect from the date of occurrence of event warranting such amendments. So, any amendments in core fields, proper officer approval is required. For amendments in non-core fields, registration certificate shall stand amended upon submission of application for amendment on common portal. If you have made changes on the common portal for amendments in core field, it will automatically change on the common portal itself. No permission is required by the proper officer. Examples of core fields. Legal name of the business. My name is XYZ. I want to change it to ABC. For that, proper officer approval is required. Address of the principal place of business. I have business in some MG road. I want to change in SG road. Then in such case, proper officer approval is required. Addition, deletion or retirement of partners, directors, karta, managing committee, board of trustees, chief executive officer or equivalent are responsible for the day-to-day affairs of the business. That means legal name of the business, address of the business, change in the executive officers of the company. If these changes are required, then proper officer approval is required. If change in mobile number, email ID, then only you have to change on the common portal, automatically it will be changed. Proper officer approval is not required. If change does not warrant cancellation of registration, if the change is not for cancellation of registration, the proper officer shall amend the application, shall amend the registration within 15 days from the date of receipt. If the proper officer is received the amendment request, then he can change the amendments within 15 days. If the proper officer requires further information, further clarification, further document, then he shall issue a notice to the registered person. Such registered person shall give a notice shall give replies to such notice within 7 days. Proper officer shall give a notice to the registered person. The registered person shall give a reply to the notice within 7 days. If the reply is not given within 7 days, if the reply is given by the proper office, if the reply is not given by the proper person, if the reply is not given, or if the reply is given by the person is not satisfied by the proper officer, he may reject the amendment of registration. Got my point? Okay. Then, any change in the mobile number or email address of the authorized signature shall be carried out only after online verification. Through common portal. No proper officer approval is required. Deemed acceptance. Certificate of registration shall be deemed to be accepted. Certificate of registration shall stand amended if the proper officer does not take any action, if the proper office not taking any action within 15 days from the date of receipt of amendment application, or within 7 days from the date of the receipt of reply to the stroke consent, proper officer is asking further requirement. Such a person is submitting the clarification to the stroke cause notice within 7 days. If the proper officer is not taking any action within 7 days, it is deemed to be accepted. Okay. And the last important points, only cancellation or suspension of registration and revocation of cancellation. If I want to cancel my registration, I can cancel the registration. If the proper officer is sumoto, also he can cancel the registration. There are two types of cancellation. One is application made by the person or by legal heirs of such person due to such business has been discontinued, business has been transferred for any reason, including the death of the proprietor, amalgamated with other business, or demerged, or anything maybe, or proper officer by sumoto. Then we can discuss. That is the one. The proper officer may either on his own motion or an application made by the registered person or by his legal heirs in case of death of such person cancel the registration in such manner and within such period as may be prescribed. Having regard to circumstances where the business has been discontinued, transferred fully for any reason, including the death of proprietor, amalgamated with any other legal entity. This is only cancellation purpose. Then the proper officer also may cancel the registration on sumoto. What is the reasons? A registered person has contravened the such provisions of the act or the rules made thereunder. Then first one, a person paying tax under section 10. Under section 10 means a composition scheme. Composition dealer has to file return quarterly only. A person paying tax under composition has not furnished the return for a 3 consecutive tax period. Any registered person other than composition taxpayer has not filed the return within a period for a continuous period of 6 months. Any person voluntarily has taken the registration but he has not commenced the business. Such person has voluntarily taken the registration but he has not commenced the business for a period of 6 months from the date of registration. The only thing, and one more point, registration is obtained by fraud or willful misstatement or suppression of act. In such cases, the proper officer may cancel the registration. We are going to read now. The proper officer may cancel the registration of a person from such date, including any retrospective date, as he may deem fit where a registered person has contravened such provision of the act or rules made thereunder, as may be prescribed. A person paying tax under section 10. Under section 10 means composition. A person paying tax under composition scheme has not furnished the return for a 3 consecutive tax period. A person paying composition tax has not furnished the returns for 3 consecutive tax periods. Any registered person other than composition taxpayer has not furnished the returns for a continuous period of 6 months. Then any person who has taken voluntary registration has not commenced the business within 6 months from the date of registration. Registration has been obtained by means of fraud, willful misstatement or suppression of acts. In such cases, the proper officer may cancel the registration, but proper officer has been given an opportunity of being heard to such person before cancellation of registration. If any person, if myself I want to cancel my registration, I had to apply for registration within 30 days from the date, within 30 days. Procedure for cancelling. A registered person seeking cancellation of registration shall electronically submit the application for cancellation of registration within 30 days of occurrence of event for cancellation of registration. If my business has been discontinued today, within 30 days from today, I had to apply for cancellation of registration. The proper officer shall issue the order of cancellation of registration within 30 days. I had to apply for registration within 30 days from the date of occurrence of event, and the proper officer also cancel the order of cancellation certificate within 30 days of receipt of application. Then cancellation by officer by sumoto. If any officer sumoto cancel the registration, he shall serve a notice to the concerned registered person for cancellation of registration. If the proper person has to has to give a reply to show cause notice within 7 days. If reply is not given, if the reply is not proper, if the reply is given is not satisfied by the officer, the proper officer shall cancel the registration certificate within 30 days from the date of receipt of reply to the show cause notice. Then the proper officer has cancelled the registration, the registered person has go to appeal for cancellation of that cancellation registration. That is revocation of cancellation of registration. That means the proper officer sumoto by cancel the registration, then the registered person apply for appeal for cancellation of that cancellation registration certificate. That means that is a revocation of cancellation of registration. That is the revocation of cancellation of registration. If any person where the registration of a person is cancelled sumoto, it is section 30 is applicable only for sumoto by proper officer. Is cancelled sumoto by proper officer. Where the registration of a person is cancelled sumoto by proper officer, such registered person may apply for revocation of cancel to such proper officer within 30 days from the date of service of order of cancellation of registration. Service of order means receipt of such order by the person. Service of order means issue of order not. Only that issue of order is received by the recipient, that is nothing but a service of order. Where any registered person where any registration of a person is cancelled sumoto by the proper officer, such registered person shall apply for revocation of cancellation of registration within 30 days from the date of service of notification. The proper officer, if satisfied, then he may revoke the cancellation of registration. If he is not satisfied, then he may cancel the registration certificate. Such cancellation of registration certificate shall not affect the payment of taxes, interest, liability. If any interest is there, if any tax penalty, tax is there, if any tax due is there, if any penalty is there, such amount shall be definitely compulsorily has to pay irrespective of cancellation of registration. There ends the registration chapter. Thank you.